Welcome back to No Shit MMA on thatchannel.com. We have a real website now, noshitmma.com.
Wow.
But who gives a crap? Because right now we have Jack Bateman on the line, who happens to be the owner and promoter for W1. What is this one called? Your next one this weekend, Jack?
This is Unplugged this weekend.
So
Nice.
there's going to be no power in the arena. It's going to be all in the dark?
All in the dark.
Cool.
Robin's going to be doing the post-fight in-ring interviews, yelling his fucking ass off.
Just yell.
And fuck, man, how was that
Yeah.
fight? And people are just going to be like, everybody in the third row is going to hear, and that's about it.
Is it sold out, Jack?
We are, I think we have like 150 tickets left, something like that.
Okay, so
you probably will sell out, I would think, yeah.
if anybody wants tickets, literally, you got to buy them kind of right now on the phone or online or in the morning. Where can they get tickets?
W1MMA.com.
Okay. So tell us about the main event, Jack.
We got Craig Farmer-Brown fighting Dana Dickinson, who's a late replacement for Bill Mahood, who injured his elbow last week.
And they're both 5-0, is that right?
I think that...
I know Dana Dickinson is 5-0, and I believe Farmer might be 6-0.
Yeah, Farmer's 5-1 and Dana's 5-0, yeah.
It's light heavyweight, right?
It's light heavyweight, yeah. We got a sweet little belt coming up.
Nice.
So we...
is this for a title?
From the States, which I'm pretty damn pleased about.
Yeah, and so this is the first W1 title. Let me just give a bit of background to our viewers. Most people would know what W1 is, but people who are
new to the regional fight game.
to the regional fight game won't have seen it. But you guys have broke in with a sold-out show and huge main events and stuff, and are the fight card people are talking about here in Canada. So who else is on this one?
Well, we've got Mark Holst, who had that spectacular fight there with Martin Grandmont back in Inception in March.
Yeah. That was a crazy fight.
He's back after that quick knockout there that he received from Martin Grandmont after winning the majority of that fight. He's fighting Chris Verano, who's the replacement for Jason St. Lee, who he originally had slated for that fight.
I trained with Verano out at Extreme Couture, and he's going to be a real threat for Boots. But Boots is a badass, man. Like, people who aren't familiar with our region, Mark Boots Holst, you'll see him fighting in top-level shows.
Yeah,
like
he'll be able to move up into something pretty big really soon. For real.
We're lucky to have him on your show now, for sure.
What's his record? He's now got one loss, right? Everything he was.
He's 8-1 maybe, or 7-1. Do you know, Jack?
You talking about Verano?
No,
Holst.
Boots.
Holst is 4-1 right now.
4-1. That's
okay,
it.
and then
he has some kickboxing fights as well.
Yeah,
8-1 in kickboxing.
Yeah, he's like undefeated in kickboxing.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what is his opponent's record?
4-0, I believe.
Okay.
Or 3-1.
I have him at 3-1.
3-1, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
I
good
think
fight.
Mark has had the tougher fights, but Chris is a tough guy, and he'll be real game, and it's going to be a good fight.
Forward to it. Yeah,
and then Frank or Hosier Bruno.
Is he back?
Yeah. Who did he knock out last time, Jack?
He fought. What the hell did he fight?
The Culkster, Glenn Culka.
Glenn Culka.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
and Glenn Culka. That was the knockout the world hero. That one there.
Man, the cage shook.
Glenn Culka is a former football player and WWE fighter.
Yeah.
Wrestler, what a performer. And Hosier walked in there and just hammered him, and he's a big, powerful man.
Yeah.
And so we're excited to see him.
Czech Congo. He's the Canadian Czech Congo.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what's really cool is during the weigh-ins, Robin thought he weighed like 155. Then he was like, maybe he's probably like 170. And I'm like,
he was so deceptive.
yeah, because he has skinny wrists and he had skinny ankles and he was wearing long shorts and a baggy shirt.
Baggy clothes.
So Robin was like, maybe he's 185. And I'm like, I don't know. And
big.
I think steps on the scale was 220.
Yeah, he's a scary guy. But yeah, you put together great fight cards. It's great to have something happen in Quebec right now with, the fact that XMMA is in trouble and there's no TKO anymore. People in this region are excited to have fights.
Absolutely, and it's good timing for us, obviously, and.
Hey Jack, does that mean would you give some consideration to try and put on an event in Montreal in the not too distant future then?
I would consider it. You got a new upstart that just happened last week there with Ringside. With Eric Shempfu there. I think he was the backer for TKO, so I think that's going to take off pretty well because I think he's pretty versed in promoting MMA in Montreal.
Right.
I have to be very, very careful. I'm not from there, so I don't want to pretend like I know what the Montrealers want for MMA.
Yeah, an
So-
outsider in Quebec is a really
That's not.
different
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
How about this then? When fighting is allowed in Ontario, MMA events are allowed in Ontario. Will you hold one in Toronto?
I will be, well, I can't guarantee it, but I will try to be the first person behind the UFC getting a promoter's license in Ontario.
Yeah,
That's
because
the,
we
that is
need
our goal, absolutely, and I'm sure it's a lot of people's goals. But I'm hoping that by the time it comes through, maybe next year sometime, we've had 5 or 8 fights by then, and we're pretty established, and it'll be an easy transition for us, especially because I'm from Toronto, and it would be fantastic to have a show here.
Have you had any conversations with the sanctioning authorities yourself?
Not directly. I have some, I'm going to call them sources that are very, very, very close to the whole situation, so I'm pretty knowledgeable as far as what's actually going on.
Yeah.
But
it's coming along.
I don't speak directly with them, no.
It is definitely coming along. My sources are saying too, so that's good.
And are you in this game just to get chicks? Is that really why you're doing this promotion?
And how do you do with the women?
Well, I used to do pretty good until I got my girlfriend, which I've had for 4 years. Hello, my girl who's listening in Buffalo. She's in university in Buffalo.
So she's watching this right now. So we should.
Right now, you guys are getting me in a whole lot of trouble.
Wicked.
Hang on a second. She wasn't the chick that we saw you with when we were at W1, the first one, Inception?
No.
I hope it was, yes.
No, just because there was the chick that was coming out of your room when we went up
What
to
about
say
those
hi.
3 girls that came out of your room at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I'm afraid that
Are we
that
getting-
must have been somebody else. I'm not sure.
Well,
I think we're
it's just
getting
it's just because you went and sent Ian to get rubbers, and so I thought that meant that you were getting some action. But whatever,
Whatever,
like
it's
you
not
call
our-
it any way you want. So anyway, you've got a girlfriend of 4 years. That's great. Congratulations.
He doesn't anymore.
I did have a girlfirst of 4 years.
He did, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
thanks a lot.
And so,
So-
you said she's out of high school now, so she's in a university.
Nice. No, she's doing her teacher's college
Cool.
in Buffalo right now.
So and she was able to do that at the age of 17. That's really fast. So she's like a real smart girl. Good for
Absolutely.
you.
I just traded her in for my ex-girlfriend was 34, right?
Oh yeah, you got to upgrade. That was an old model.
Hey, Jack, for people that are really consumers of MMA, big fans, like the hardcore fan base, we love the small, growing upstart regional shows. But for people who just watch the UFC and occasionally they know who Kimbo Slice is or whatever, how do we get them to go and come to see an event in a small arena in Gatineau or Buffalo or wherever? What do we have to do? How do we reach those people?
What do we have to do? Well, first of all, you can watch our show, for instance, Inception. Our first show, I think, is airing on Thursday night on the Fight Network.
Yeah, this Thursday.
Yeah, I think so. So you can take a look at that. I think it's at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. So you can take a look at the talent that you're going to see there, and then you're going to realize that sometimes these regional shows actually put better shows on than UFC because of sometimes there's gaps in the skill level. So you get a little bit more of a striker versus grappler, which can really put a lot of interesting fights together.
Yeah.
And for somebody who hasn't seen it live, I gotta tell you, they're missing out. You were there, Robin.
Yeah.
Both of you guys were there at the last show. We had a little over 3,000 people there, and it sounded like 15.
Yeah, when I tell people about it, I try to get people on board to really go out and see one. But
It's hard to when you're at a smaller show, it's hard to really hold that enthusiasm in because you're much closer to the fight. You got a much better sense of what's going on. It's also a lot less expensive to go to a really big show.
Yeah,
so if you're a fan of MMA, but you don't have $600 for a decent ticket for a UFC event, and you can't make your way down to Vegas because the Montreal event is sold out or whatever, and there's only one every so many months, then this is a great opportunity to kind of take in the vibe that you get at an event like this, especially when you're right. Those kinds of cards are pretty cool.
Yeah.